Welcome to Outside Views, and today we continue our series BRITURN, the Obstacles. And this is Chapter 6, Company Law. As we examine the mere possibility of the UK joining the EU again, it's vital to remember that this process would not be a simple return. Instead, the UK would need to apply as a new candidate and undergo the rigorous EU accession process, adhering to all the requirements for membership. And today's focus is on Chapter 6 of the Acquis Communautaire, and that's company law. Company law in the EU is an essential element of the single market. It provides a harmonized framework for the formation, registration, operation, merger, and division of companies across member states. And these rules aim to create a level playing field for businesses, enhance transparency, and protect the interests of shareholders, employees, and creditors. For the UK, aligning with EU company law would mean addressing the divergence that has indeed occurred since Brexit and ensuring compliance with EU standards. The first aspect of this chapter involves the formation and registration of companies. EU company law ensures that the process of setting up a business is straightforward, transparent, and uniform across all member states. This includes rules on the minimum requirement for establishing a company, such as documentation, capital requirements, and also shareholder rights. Post-Brexit, the UK has developed its own rules for company formation and for registration, and which in part differ from EU standards. To rejoin the EU, the UK would need to harmonize these rules with the Acquis, ensuring that its system aligns with the principles of transparency and accessibility. Mergers and divisions of companies are another critical area of EU company law. The EU's rules facilitate cross-border mergers and divisions, enabling companies to restructure and expand within the single market without unnecessary barriers. And for the UK, joining the EU again would mean adopting these rules and ensuring that its legal framework supports seamless cross-border operations. And this could involve revising domestic legislation to align with EU directives, such as the cross-border mergers directives, and creating mechanisms for resolving disputes that arise during these processes. In the area of financial reporting, the EU's company law acquis specifies detailed rules for the presentation of annual and consolidated accounts. These rules are designed to enhance transparency, ensure comparability, and promote investor confidence. The EU also provides simplified reporting requirements for small and medium-sized enterprises, those SMEs, recognizing their unique needs and challenges. Post-Brexit, the UK has introduced its own financial reporting standards, which may not fully align with EU rules. And to join the EU again, the UK would need to adopt the relevant EU directives and regulations, ensuring that its financial reporting framework meets the standards required for membership. The application of international accounting standards is another important component of this chapter. Under EU rules, certain public interest entities, such as listed companies, are required to prepare their financial statements in accordance with this IAS. These standards ensure consistency and comparability in financial reporting across the EU, facilitating cross-border investment and economic integration. And for the UK, aligning with this requirement would involve adopting IAS for the relevant entities and ensuring that its regulatory framework supports compliance with these standards. Statutory audits are also a key element of EU company law. The Acquis specifies rules for the approval, professional integrity, and independence of statutory auditors, as well as the quality assurance and oversight of audit firms. These rules are designed to ensure the reliability of financial statements and protect the interests of stakeholders. Post-Brexit, the UK has developed its own framework for statutory audits, which may differ from EU standards in certain areas. Joining the EU again would require the UK to harmonize its rules on auditing, ensuring that its system aligns with the principles of transparency, accountability, and independence. The implementation of these rules requires effective administrative capacity and robust institutions as well. And for the UK, rebuilding this capacity would involve significant investment in regulatory bodies, training for staff, and the development of new systems and procedures. And this includes enhancing cooperation with EU institutions and member states to ensure the consistent application of EU company law. One potential challenge for the UK is the perception of EU company law as overly complex and burdensome. During the Brexit referendum, concerns were raised about the administrative and compliance costs associated with EU regulations. Joining the EU again would require addressing these concerns and demonstrating the benefits of aligning with EU company law, such as improved access to the single market and enhanced investor confidence. Building public and political support for these changes would involve clear communication and engagement with stakeholders, including businesses, investors, and professional bodies. The political challenges of this chapter cannot be underestimated. Company law is deeply intertwined with broader debates about sovereignty, economic policy, and regulatory alignment. For example, aligning with EU rules on company law could be seen as limiting the UK's ability to tailor its regulatory framework to its own needs and to its own priorities. Building trust with EU partners and demonstrating a commitment to fully implement the acquis would be critical for ensuring a smooth accession process. But how difficult would it be for the UK to complete this chapter? From a mere technical perspective, the UK's well-developed legal and regulatory system provides a strong foundation for alignment with EU company law. Many of the principles and practices established during the UK's membership of the EU remain in place, making the process of harmonization, let's say, relatively straightforward. However, the political and administrative challenges are significant. Joining the EU again would require not only legislative changes, but also a cultural shift towards greater integration and cooperation with EU partners. So in conclusion, Chapter 6, Company Law, highlights both the opportunities and the obstacles of a potential BRITURN. While the benefits of aligning with EU rules on company law are clear, the process of harmonization would require significant political will, public support, and administrative effort. And for the UK, this chapter is not just about aligning laws. It's about rebuilding trust, addressing misconceptions about EU regulations, and demonstrating a commitment to the values of the European Union. So thank you for joining me on this 6th step in our exploration of the obstacles to BRITURN. And if you found this analysis insightful, please like the video, please do share it, and subscribe to Outside Views for more in-depth discussions on European politics and global affairs. And of course, let's continue the conversation in the comments below the video. What do you think about the UK's ability to align with the EU's rules on company law? I really look forward to your thoughts, and as always, stay informed and see you in the next video. One of those is right here in the end screen.